I mean, they have no business knowing those things.
99% of the time, they will answer far more than you think they will.
These boys are becoming too good at our format. So we might have to do that little tinker around a little bit to ensure that we are one up over them when they come back.
These are not one-dimensional children. These are children who are good at sport, good at their studies, good at extracurricular activities, good at everything. They're achievers in every sense of the term, not just in terms of sports quizzing.
The best thing from a personal perspective is to see these young students from India participate the way they participate. They participate with great pride for themselves, for their school and for their region.
Every time I do a school quiz, I think India is in safe hands. And that is the overwhelming feeling I get. You get carried away with your emotion, but just the talent that exists in India is awesome.
St. John's, Rajendra Vidyalaya, Birla High. When the dust settled and the last spear had fallen, these three warrior clans remained standing. This is their story. Arvind and Pranav from Chennai, Rajesh and Rahul from Jamshedpur, Aditya and Robin from Kolkata. Join them on their journey. Welcome to the third edition of India's premier sports quiz. In the next 30 minutes, we take you behind the scenes at this event. This year, over 3,000 students took part. Of these, 216 qualified for the television rounds. Students from all over India came to participate in the quiz.
Some mind-boggling facts, aren't they? Now, what you've been watching of the ESPN school quiz is what takes place on this very set. But in order to bring you the magic, the real spells have been woven, not here, but behind the scenes.
Who you rooting for?
Jaipur.
You for Jaipur?
Yeah.
You?
Sun Excellence Jaipur.
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 Sanjay is Jaipur, Arun is Jaipur, Amitabh is Jaipur, Phil is Jaipur, I am Jamshedpur. Nalini, you? Jamshedpur. You?
Winner.
Don't tell us now.
Winner.
Okay.
From a vast pool that started with over 1,500 schools, we have seen the brightest brains in the country right here. Some nervously treading, others confidently striding forth in their quest to be crowned ESPN School Quiz champions for 2003. Now, many a gutsy battle have seen most fall by the wayside, but 6 of the best and strongest still stand, all to give it one final fling at that prize that is every sports lover's dream.
A trip to any sporting event anywhere in the world is for kids who are just 14 or 15-year-old, and we actually take them there. They just are wide-eyed when they're meeting their idols and they're seeing them in flesh. I think the most unique thing about ESPN School Quiz is the prize. The prize is given not to the individual students, but it goes to the school for developing sports and quizzing activities. That's for one, I think, is a very different thing that our channel is doing.
Nestle Milo presents ESPN School Quiz. Win with Milo Energy.
नया सेंटर शॉक च्युइंगम हिला के रख दे।
छोटी सी बात से टेंशन शुरू और छोटी सी बात से टेंशन खत्म। हिमालय प्योर हर्ब्स अश्वगंधा, डेली टेंशन का डेली उपाय।
बाबूजी इधर।
ये फिंगर कितने काउंटिंग करो तो 5। कार्बन कितना छपेगा 5। तो ये कोकोआ कितने का है 8।
ये छोटा नहीं बड़ा कोक है।
हाँ तो एक दूसरे का पेज धोइए और 3 रुपए लाइए।
ये अकेला कितना से पिटेगा 8 मतलब बड़ा कोक।
3 मीठा पान दे।
पनुआ कैले के मनुआ के लैले गोरे गोरे मुकड़े पे डाली रचैले गोरे गोरे मुकड़े पे छुट्टा नहीं है।
भैया हम क्लोरमेंट क्यों खाते हैं?
अबे अब दोबारा मत पूछना। टाइम फुल।
सबको पता है क्लोरमेंट में है हर्बसॉल जो सांसों को दी ताजगी। दोबारा मत पूछना।
Winning at the school quiz means a lot to us because we have come from a small city like Nasik.
And here we get to compete with all of the Indian teams, so it's a complete different level.
In some quizzes, the teams are eliminated after doing badly in just one round. I think in this quiz, many teams can come back from just have a great comeback in 40th and do it. Tag as the national champions. That's worth $1 million, and there is no way to describe that. We're forgetting the fascinating prizes that are there. Just playing for pride here.
Welcome once again to the ESPN quiz. Very carefully.
One head. Oh.
Slowly but surely.
7-year-old kid will walk around with a start saying 40th means stronger.
We are reaching the climax.
That's the nature of competition.
This is quizzing of the very highest caliber.
That's amazing. The school quiz was the result of a conversation between myself, Harsha Bogle and Joy Bhattacharya when India last toured Australia. It was in a hotel room in Perth, in actual fact, when the subject turned to television and what we should be doing in India in the next phase of our production development. Both Joy and Harsha knew of the quality that rested in the schools and the young students and their knowledge of sport. To be blunt, we saw it as a good opportunity to make some scintillating television.
There are 2 or 3 things which are very important. One is obviously knowledge. You really need to know sport. 2 is there needs to be a certain amount of courage to go for those quick CTS points, to take the risks, to gamble and to get away with it. And there must be the strength and fortitude to hold out in the last round, which is 40th, when you know that if you miss a 10-pointer, you're out of it. And the interesting thing is, what does it require? It requires knowledge or skill, it requires courage, and it requires strength. And I think these are the same attributes that you'll find is required in any top-level competitive sport.
You know, the most difficult part of doing this quiz is standing up there, those papers in my hand, and I'm asking the question that's going to give one team great joy, but it's probably going to cause a tear to appear somewhere. Now, these boys might be 15, 16, 14 in some cases, but that sudden surge of emotion when it comes, it brings the odd tear out. And that's when I think I'm growing a little too old for it.
When we started about 3 years back, we had representation from 22 cities, and now that we are in our 3rd year, we have representation from 44 cities, roughly about 1,500 schools, and it is our continuing effort that we want to get more and more schools into ESPN School Quiz gamut.
A lot goes into the preparation of the school quiz, but let's not forget the real heroes, the boys and girls who carry forth the names of their schools with pride. And remember, they're not on home ground. Many of them have travelled a long, long way and prepared mighty hard to come this far to be under the spotlight.
St. John's and very careful with the buzzer. Buzzer works all the time. Okay, no other team can take it away. But you press the buzzer, other two teams. When Harsha says no, incorrect, question passes.
Smile, wave. Smile properly.
It was perfect interactive sessions. The children were more into exchange of their own knowledge. They never felt that it is a competition, one is beating the other one. There was no jealous at all. And I really feel at one point of time all these children should study in a particular institution and they should have a very nice time and a healthy feeling that it made me also feel that these people will make a very good citizens in future.
The ESPN School Quiz is brought to you by NECC. Have you had an egg today?
नया अल्पेनलिबे लॉलीपॉप लगे रहो।
अरे आइए वेलकम।
वाह वाह,
क्या लेंगे? ठंडा गरम?
ठंडा। कल तक शरबत, आज कोल्ड ड्रिंक है? कल तक तौलिया, आज नैपकिन।
शीला कम।
ओह, कल तक सुनती हो, आज शीला। अच्छा, कल तक टीवी, आज
सैमसंग का नया Q सीरीज, ऐसी शानदार स्टाइल और साउंड जो सबके रंग उड़ा दे।
पिताजी भी टर्ड।
When he isn't designing stunning buildings, Ravi relaxes by training Dobermans. Some of the most interesting people drive the Wagon R. What about you? अब मार्बल्स के साथ एक जगमगाता WWE फाइटर स्टिकर फ्री।
है? ये क्या कर रहा है? उसने बोला बिग शो देगा। चुप, चल तू अंदर।
The cream of the nation's quizzing crop have made the final. Now to conquer those unbelievable brain teasers, to overcome some heart-stopping finishes, to reach the elite stage of such a highly competitive event takes a heady mixture of knowledge, skill and presence of mind. And I think it's only fitting that we delve into these 6 special minds and see just what it is that brought them this far. Chennai, one of the city's enduring landmarks, still standing tall after being devastated by a fire a few years ago. A bit like Pranav and Arvind, he braved the odds and fueled by a fire of their own, a burning desire to win, reached the finals of the ESPN School Quiz. Now, do they have that extra spark to carry the victory flame home?
Brilliant! Brilliant! Frankie Fredericks and Otto Bolden. Brilliant answer from St. John's, Chennai. They kept their cool. I have never seen anything like this. Absolutely brilliant. Frankie Fredericks and Otto Bolden it was. This is quizzing of the very, very, very highest caliber.
There was a tremendous amount of competitive spirit. I felt that there were two people with their heart beating as one. That single-minded devotion I have found in this, their attitude towards this ESPN quiz. They consider it as, you know, as the thing.
Even holidays, we find them coming to school, sitting in the library and referring books. And they've been professionally attempting this. It's not that just in a day they've done it.
The ESPN School Quiz Olympiad thing that was telecast last year, it was telecast 3 times a day, one at 12 noon, one at 5:30 and one at 11 in the night, 11:30 in the night. So 12 o'clock they had to miss because they were at school. 5 o'clock he can't stay at home. Now he's one guy who can't miss his 2 hours of games a day. And night he would sleep off at 9:30, get up at 11 and note every single question of Harsha Bogle. You know, Harsha Bogle used to speak so fast and he used to note it down very fast. And next morning he used to write it down in a fair note. He has actually prepared a register out of the whole thing.
Pranav, when he was in 7th, he wanted to buy his own electric guitar, and so I always believed in goal orientation. I said, okay, let me tell you something. But during your vacations, why don't you start making pizzas? Because he was good at making pizzas. And one thing good with Pranav is once you give him an idea, he can catch on from there. He gave the name of his pizza joint as People's Pizzeria. He made this visiting card. In fact, people are amazed to see his visiting card, and literally he did that. Like he conceived the whole business as the president of the company, and as the manager, he did everything. As a chef, he invented newer and newer pizzas, and he did go and deliver the pizzas.
Here's how it goes. All it takes is some trying. If you feel like leaving, I'm not gonna make you stay, I'm gonna make you stay. So you'll be finding you run, you can hide, but you can't escape my love. You can run, you can hide, but you can't.
Arvind, for instance, is absolutely nuts. He watches sports like bowling, fencing and all stuff you can never watch on TV. He watches sports absolutely nobody can dream of watching. He likes some player called Van Hooijdonk.
When he was around 4.5 to 5, he used to play with the calendars, and we found that he was capable of telling, if you happen to tell the date, he was capable of telling the day. So if it is between the gap of 5 years, he was instantaneous, and if it is beyond a little bit, he used to think in a matter of 2-3 minutes he was able to get the day, and people used to start checking him. Almost he will be 99.9% accurate, I should say.
To succeed at the ESPN School Quiz, you need nerves of steel. And here we are at India's very own steel city, Jamshedpur or Tata Nagar, to see if Rajesh Jha and Rahul Singh from Rajendra Vidyalaya, heroes already and in the final, can produce some heavy metal of their own and make it all the way.
Who did Floyd Patterson defeat to become the youngest ever world heavyweight boxing champion? Archie Moore!
Rahul and Rajesh taken together, I must say they form a class of their own, a special identity, the pride of our school.
My motto is life is that I make trends, not follow them. And I listen to sports commentary and study. It keeps me going, keeps me pumped up, keeps me in the rhythm. And I have full concentration. I'm not aware of what's going around me. It gives me allow me to concentrate properly. My favorite sport is sepak takraw. It's a Malaysian national sport. It's rarely shown on TV, but It's an immensely acrobatic sport.
मेरी इच्छा है कि कुछ ऐसा करे जो बहुत कम लोग किया कोई ऐसी चीज
I want him to give a unique invention to this country. He's got a very sharp memory and he barely studies for an hour a day.
पढ़ता है बहुत कम, हार्डली 24 आवर्स में 1 घंटा 2 घंटा 1 घंटा भी नहीं पढ़ता।
जो पिछले साल गया था तो आकर बोला कि मम्मी हमको जाना है, तो मेरा तो दिल एकदम धक धक करने लगा। बोले कितना छोटा।
Last year too, I was very apprehensive sending him to Delhi because he is so very simple.
बात भी करने में नहीं इसको अच्छी लगता है।
Initially, you know what, the reaction with children, they used to find him a little bookish, and they used to, you know, make fun of him. Very bookish and all, you know, like that. But with the passage of time, he has brought so much of laurels to the school, and so much of, you know, prizes, and he has won so many events, and especially this ESPN quiz. He has turned out to be, you know, the what we call blue-eyed boy of the school.
Rajesh, I find he is, you know, a boy of very inquisitive nature, like always curious to know something. So he is not the person, you know, who is simply satisfied with bookish knowledge. He wants to learn more and more. Why this is happening? Maybe that is one of the reasons why he has achieved success so much.
इसमें बहुत बात उठता है। यहाँ कहीं कुछ गया तो अब उसके पीछे वाई वेयर व्हेन वाओ ये 5-6 क्वेश्चंस को पहले सिखाया था, इसलिए ऑलवेज पूछेगा वाई वेयर हाउ।
Since childhood, he's got a very inquisitive bent of mind.
ये था इंटेलिजेंस का कुछ ही गैदर करने का।
ये घर से पहली बार गया था ESPN क्विज के लिए, घर से बाहर पहले कभी नहीं
School
गया
quiz was the first time that he went to a place without us. Initially, I was apprehensive, but then everything was normal.
Kolkata used to be the capital of this country. In one sense, it still is. It's known as the quizzing capital of India. But can Robin Day and Aditya Bagri, who were a trifle lucky to make the finals, take Birla High School to the top and make it 3 in a row for Bengal at the ESPN school quiz?
Dennis Compton. Correct!
both of them that way are very focused. When they want to do something, they really will do. Work hard and make sure they achieve their goal. They are good in studies, they are rank holders, and they are doing well in quizzes also, in studies also. In fact, the quizzes help them in their studies. So they have an all-round capacity. They have developed themselves that way. They know exactly when to do what.
Last year they have actually lost it in the finals. They came up to the semi-final round. So after that, both of them had decided that they will be winning this year, and they have been putting in almost about 2.5 hours every day into reading, internet surfing, and watching the live programs very closely.
We used to take Scrabble and play Scrabble, and one day it struck both of us like, why can't we practice anagrams on that? So we used to take letters from the Scrabble and we used to arrange them on the board so that we could crack them.
Aditya has been a reader right from his childhood. I think he almost started reading when he was on my lap, and he first picked up the newspaper when he was about 3.5 years old.
हर्षे मुनि सब सुनि बरबानी दीन यसीस सबहि सुकुमानी पुनि मुनि वृंद समेत कृपाला देखन चले धनुषुमक
Aditya studies, watches ESPN, still religiously reads the Ramayana.
Whenever we three are on stage together, the team which is sitting next to us is like really grateful to Robin because he gives them half their points. He's got this habit of shouting out an answer if he sees that he knows it. Especially Robin these days is so good. You ask him anything about football and especially the English Premier League, he never seems to miss a single question. I mean, he could probably name the first playing 11 of every single English Premier Division side.
think he manages to top the class even though you never find him studying is because, though we sleep till 8 and 9, he wakes up at 6 and probably 6 to 10 or 3-4 hours he'll study with a lot of concentration. Then the entire day he'll be playing, doing everything else.
When we're watching television, he wants to watch ESPN or Star Sports, and we want to watch the movie channels. And so finally in the fight, he usually wins over because he's a great kicker.
He's very much determined. If he wants to do well in something, he just, always working at it to achieve that goal, mostly mentally. It's going on in his mind all the time. Like, for example, he became crazy about quiz, and then especially sports quiz. So I don't know from where he has collected all those books on quizzes, sports quizzes, and CD-ROMs, and whatnot. Robin has about 11 cats, which makes it equivalent to a football team, and he has named all of them as the renowned footballers of present day. Suddenly I realized it. Well, I thought there were only 5 people in my family, and now it's 16. So you can imagine how I'm getting poorer every day.
I've been coming here for 3 years. Lost out in the first round the first year. Last year it was the zonal final. This year we have reached the final, and I'd like to end my stay at ESPN Star Quiz with a win.
On these wonderful, inspiring stories, 3 sets of young men from different parts of India having qualified against all odds to come here. We make them walk through this tunnel every day, and we often wonder what must be going through their minds. The emotion, the tension, the great pressure, maybe even the hope of having to qualify against equally good teams. But these 3 teams have managed to do it all. They've vanquished the opposition, they've won over themselves, they've beaten their own tensions, and now they deserve the right to be on the big stage. One final time when they walk through this tunnel like the stars they are, they will go and perform one final time. Don't miss it! The final of the ESPN School Quiz with the 3 best teams in the country. So Loyola Trivandrum, you did very, very well to come so far. Sorry, I can stop.